In Umuaka, the sun rose early, casting a golden glow over mud huts and dusty paths. Peter woke to the crow of a rooster, his body aching from yesterday's labor. At 23, he was lean but strong, his eyes holding a quiet resilience. Since his father's death, his mother, Mama Nkechi, and her new husband, Mr. Okoro, had made his life a living ordeal. They sent him to hawk groundnuts under the scorching sun, fetch water from the distant stream, and farm their small plot of yam and cassava. At night, he collapsed on a worn mat under a leaking shed, often with an empty stomach. "Peter, you lazy boy. Get up and fetch water before I flog you." Mr. Okoro's voice boomed from the main house. Peter scrambled to his feet, grabbing 2 jerry cans. The villagers watched him pass, their eyes heavy with pity. "Poor boy," they whispered, but no one dared confront Mr. Okoro, whose temper was as fierce as a bushfire. One day, a young woman named Adana arrived in Umuaka. She wore a faded wrapper and carried a small sack, her face plain but kind. She worked as a laborer on Mr. Okoro's farm, planting yam and clearing weeds. Adana kept to herself, speaking little, her hands calloused from work. Peter noticed her quiet strength, but their paths rarely crossed beyond a nod or a shared glance. Mr. Okoro, however, noticed Adana too, not for her work, but as a solution to a growing problem. Peter had been demanding the small wages owed for months of labor. "Pay me, sir, I beg you," Peter pleaded one evening, sweat still dripping from his brow. "I've worked hard." Mr. Okoro scratched his chin, his eyes glinting with a wicked idea. He glanced at Adana, who was stacking harvested yams nearby. "You want payment, eh?" he said, laughing. "Take that girl instead. Marry her, and your debt is settled." Peter froze, his heart pounding. "Sir, what do you mean?" "Adana." Mr. Okoro barked. "You're going with Peter. He's your husband now." Adana's eyes widened, but she said nothing, her face unreadable. Peter's stomach churned. "Sir, I can't, this isn't right." "Shut up." Mr. Okoro snapped. "You're lucky anyone would take you, useless boy." Mama Nkechi smirked from the doorway. "One less burden for us," she muttered. Peter looked at Adana, her head bowed, her hands trembling slightly. He felt a pang of guilt. She was as trapped as he was. "I'm sorry," he whispered, but she didn't respond. With no choice, Peter packed his few belongings, a faded shirt, a pair of patched trousers, and a small Bible his father had left him, into a plastic bag. Adana followed, her sack slung over her shoulder. The village watched in silence as they left, Peter's younger sister, Ngozi, weeping quietly by the fence. The journey to Enugu was long, the bus rattling over potholed roads, passing through towns with bustling markets and stretches of green farmland. Peter sat by the window, staring at the blur of trees and hills. Adana sat beside him, silent, clutching her sack. He stole glances at her, wondering what she was thinking. Her face was calm, but her eyes held a depth he couldn't read. "Adana," he said softly, breaking the silence. "I'm sorry for this. I didn't want it to happen this way." She turned to him, her voice low. "It's not your fault, Peter. Life has its ways." Her words surprised him. There was no bitterness, only acceptance. He nodded, unsure what to say. "Where are we going?" she asked after a pause. "I have a friend in Enugu," Peter replied. "Emeka. He works as a driver for a big man. He said I could stay with him until I find work." Adana nodded, returning her gaze to the window. Peter prayed silently, "Lord, let this woman not suffer because of me. Give us a new start." Hours later, Enugu's skyline appeared, tall buildings, honking cars, and crowds weaving through streets. Peter's eyes widened, he'd never been to a city this big. Adana, however, seemed unfazed, as if the chaos was familiar. Emeka met them at the motor park, his grin wide. "Peter, my brother. Welcome to Enugu." His eyes flicked to Adana. "And who's this fine woman?" "This is Adana," Peter said, hesitating. My wife. Emeka's eyebrows shot up, but he didn't press. Come, let's go. My Oga's house has a small room you can use. They took Akiki to a quiet estate, stopping at a gate framed by hibiscus flowers. Beyond it was a sprawling compound with a white mansion and a small gatehouse. Emeka led them to the gatehouse, a single room with a tiny kitchen and bathroom. It was simple but clean, with a mattress, a wooden chair, and a small stove. This is yours for now, Emeka said. Oga doesn't mind as long as you keep the gate secure. Peter looked around, grateful. It was more than he'd ever had in Umuaka. Thank you, Emeka. Adana set her sack down, her eyes scanning the room. It's peaceful, she said quietly, almost to herself. That night, Peter lay on the floor, leaving the mattress for Adana. She protested, but he insisted. You need rest, he said. As he stared at the ceiling, he wondered what kind of woman Adana was, and what kind of husband he could be. Days turned into weeks, and Peter found work as a gatekeeper for Emeka's boss, Mr. Ease, a kind businessman. The job was simple: open the gate, sweep the compound, and keep watch at night. Mr. Ease paid him weekly, a small but steady income. Adana, meanwhile, took to cleaning the gatehouse and cooking with whatever Peter brought home: yam, rice, or vegetables from the market. One morning, Peter woke to the aroma of egusi soup. Adana stood by the stove, stirring a pot. Good morning, she said, her voice soft. I made breakfast. Peter blinked, surprised. You didn't have to. I wanted to, she replied, serving him a plate. They ate together, the silence comfortable for the first time. Her cooking was simple but delicious, and Peter felt a warmth he hadn't known since his father was alive. Adana, he said, setting his spoon down. Why are you so kind to me? You don't owe me anything. She looked at him, her eyes steady. You didn't choose this, Peter. Neither did I. But we're here now. I'd rather make peace than carry anger. Her words touched him. He saw strength in her, not just in her hands but in her spirit. Thank you, he said. I promise to treat you well. She smiled faintly. I believe you. One afternoon, Mr. Ease called Peter to the main house. You're a good worker, he said. I want you to meet my wife. Bring your wife too. Peter and Adana dressed simply, Peter in his best shirt, Adana in a neat wrapper. Mrs. Ease welcomed them warmly, her smile kind. Adana, you're so radiant, she said. You must join me in the kitchen sometime. I need a new cook since mine left for Abuja. Adana's eyes lit up. I'd love to, Ma. Mrs. Ease hired Adana, and soon she was cooking for the household, her meals earning praise. For the first time, Peter and Adana had enough to save. They began to dream aloud, Peter of a small shop, Adana of learning to read and write better. One evening, as they sat outside the gatehouse, Adana spoke. Peter, when Mr. Okoro gave me to you, I was afraid. I thought you'd be like him, angry, cruel. But you're not. You've given me peace. Peter's throat tightened. I was afraid too, he admitted. I didn't know how to be a husband. But you make it easy, Adana. I cared about you from the first day I saw you on the farm. She looked at him, surprised. You did? He nodded, shy. I was too poor to approach you. When Mr. Okoro said to marry you, I was shocked, but deep down, I was glad. Adana smiled, her eyes softening. I don't love you yet, Peter. But I like how you treat me, like I'm someone, not something. You're more than someone, he said. You're my strength. Life in Enugu grew brighter, but shadows loomed. Mr. Ease's nephew, Kalechi, a flashy man in his late 20s, visited often, his car gleaming, his clothes designer. One day, while Adana cooked in the main house, Kalechi sauntered into the kitchen. Well, he said, leaning against the counter. Auntie didn't tell me her cook was this fine. Adana stiffened, focusing on her work. "Good afternoon, sir." "Call me Kalechi," he said, grinning. "You're too pretty to be slaving here. What's a girl like you doing with that gatekeeper?" Adana's voice was firm. "He's my husband." Kalechi laughed. "Husband? That broke man? I can give you better, money, a phone, even a shop in Lagos." Adana stepped back. "I'm not interested, sir." His smile faded, but he left, muttering, "You'll see." Kalechi's advances continued, growing bolder. One evening, he cornered Adana in the kitchen. "I'm serious," he whispered. "I'll send you to school abroad, give you everything. Just say yes and I'll make Peter disappear." Adana's heart raced, but she stood tall. "I love my husband. He's worth more than your money." Kalechi sneered. "You'll regret this." That night, Adana told Peter everything. His fists clenched, but he calmed when he saw her fear. "I'll handle it," he said. "You're safe with me." The next day, Adana went to Mrs. E's. "Ma, your nephew is disturbing me," she said, recounting Kalechi's offers. "I can't stay if this continues." Mrs. E's face darkened, but to Adana's shock, she said, "Adana, my dear, Kalechi means well. He's just impressed by you. Why not consider his offer? We could pay Peter to step aside." Adana's heart sank. "Ma, I love Peter. I'll quit before I betray him." She walked out, tears burning her eyes. Back at the gatehouse, she told Peter, "We need to leave, Peter. I want peace." The next morning, Peter returned from the market, his face calm but purposeful. On the table sat a small savings box he'd kept hidden. "Adana," he said, "this is my savings. I wanted to start a shop, but you should use it to learn to read and write. You deserve it." Adana shook her head. "No, Peter. This is your dream. Let's use it together, rent a room, start a business. I don't want to stay here anymore." He stared at her, awed. "You'd give up comfort for me?" "For us," she corrected, her eyes fierce. "I love you," Peter pulled her close, his heart full. "I love you too, Adana." As they embraced, a knock interrupted. Mrs. E's and Kalechi stood outside. "Adana, Peter," Mrs. E said softly. "We're sorry. Kalechi's behavior was wrong, and so was mine." Kalechi nodded, ashamed. "I was foolish. You're a true wife, Adana. You're lucky, Peter." Mrs. E smiled. "You're welcome to stay, but I understand if you want to go." Adana and Peter exchanged a look. "We've decided to leave," Peter said. "We want to start our own life." Mrs. E's eyes twinkled. "Before you go, there's something you should know." She turned to Adana. "My dear, you're not just a poor girl from Amuaka." Adana frowned. "Ma? I'm your aunt," Mrs. E said. "Your mother was my sister. You're the daughter of Chief Obi, a billionaire. He left you his fortune, but I hid it to protect you from greed. I sent you to Amuaka to learn humility. When I saw how you chose love over wealth, I knew you were ready." Adana gasped, her knees weak. Peter steadied her, stunned. "You're a billionaire?" Mrs. E nodded. "The money is yours now, Adana. Use it wisely." Adana looked at Peter, tears streaming. "I don't need wealth if it means losing you." Peter smiled, his eyes misty. "We'll use it together, for our dreams, our future." Years later, Peter and Adana stood in their bustling supermarket in Enugu, their children running between aisles. Adana had learned to read and write and studied business, while Peter's shop grew into a chain. Their love, forged in hardship, had only deepened. One day, Mr. Okoro called, begging Adana to forgive him and take in his children. "With all due respect," she said firmly, "I forgive you, but keep your distance. I've found my peace." At their mansion, Peter threw Adana a surprise party for her first business award. As they danced under the stars, she whispered, "From Amuaka to this, you're my everything." "And you're my queen," he replied, kissing her forehead. Their journey, born of sacrifice and love, had led them to a life beyond their wildest dreams. Dear viewers, what lessons did you take away from this dramatic tale? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the story, give us a thumbs up, share it with friends and hit that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest updates. Thanks for watching and stay blessed.